just don't think people are transparent enough about stem cell transplant at all. They don't talk about that enough.
It is definitely talked about in kind of a high regard. It's really a stem cell transplant in its sense is a last ditch effort. It's really what it is. It's the last ditch chance. And once you've done the stem, and there are people that will do multiple stem cell transplants, that kind of thing, but the reality is once you've done stem cells, there's nothing else they can do. So if they do a stem cell transplant and, even a year down the road and your child relapses, they've done everything they can at that point.
Yeah, they will never do it again.
Yeah, so you are essentially saying, okay, we're giving it a shot. Now, a lot of people, and you're put in a position where you make a life or death situation, a choice at that moment. Nobody's the same. Everybody's different in that moment, based on what your child has been through and everything. But you're put in a position to make that choice. And I don't even know if there's a right or wrong. I just think it's your brain is going to tell you what you think is right. But you are absolutely correct in that the stem cell transplant, I think, is not really explained the best when you're given that option, because it sounds really cool, right? Stem cell transplant. You're going to get this in there. I remember when she was getting the stem cells removed, that was an all-day situation to get them all removed, and then you store them, and she got 10 times more than she needed to, so we've got plenty on hand. It'd be great. Wonderful. When that comes down the road, we'll do it. Stem cell transplant, okay, we're going to put you in there. I mean, it is days and days and days of testing and getting you ready and making sure your body can handle it, to make sure your body is well enough to handle basically being shut down and having no protections against anything. That's scary in itself. I mean, and like you said, and they will take you you can't get sick. You cannot get sick. You can't bring anything in there. You can't get a germ, and not anything. And you're waiting. You're waiting every day. My chart becomes your best friend because you're waiting every day. And I remember those mornings, 6 a.m., the thing would go off, and I'd be able to see if her white blood counts were going up, and her ANC. I would have to watch. Okay, they're going up. Okay, they're slightly. And I would be excited. And then the doctor would come in and I say, it went up. And they say, yeah, but it's just a little bit. I say, I don't care. It's going up, but
That's all.
Yeah, you're taking, I mean, listen, and you should take a victory lap for all of that, but it is scary because you are literally in a position, like I said, we were there for 40 days, and you're in a position that you're hoping to God that at that point you're praying that this works, that this fixes all the issues, that relapse that came through, this is going to fix it. This is going to make it better, because what other options do you have? And that's the problem. What other options do you have at that moment? Except the ever-famous quote that we get within this community, which is a lot, which is, we just have to wait and see. That's really not an option at all, but that's what we're given.
It's like, wait and see. We don't want to wait. I want answers, and I want answers now, but that's not reality. And it's like, I wish I could look in a little crystal glass ball and know my son's fate. Sometimes I wish I could just shake it and be like, he's going to beat this, all right? And I want to say yes. I want there to be a big fat yes on that thing. But that's not the reality. I will never know the outcome until the outcome's there. I'll never know how he's going to respond until we get to that point. And it's like, right now, because we didn't do stem cell, we're in immunotherapy. And I knew there were side effects, not as bad, but everyone's telling me, like, the pain on day one, wait for the pain on day one. I'm like, what are we all talking about? And I felt like I was prepped for the worst until it actually happened. And just to see your son rolling around, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm going to make it funny so people can really understand. Exorcism style, clenching his body and lifting himself off the bed with his feet and his shoulder blades, just tensing his body everywhere and screaming to the point he can't breathe, all over, again, a drug that's supposed to save him. Why are there not any new options? Like, why do we have to put our kids through a severe amount of pain, a severe amount of sickness? I have to watch my kid either vomit profusely 90 times a day on low-dose chemo and crap his brains out, or I have to watch him flail around in pain, and there's not a single thing I can do. And like you said, as a parent, your job is to protect your child. But how can I not protect him from the treatment he has to have? Because, well, they told me what would happen if I stopped treatment. You can't protect your kid. It's one of those situations you can't. You can be their advocate, but you can't protect them from the things that come from treatment.
You are you're unfortunately with this type of diagnosis, you're on the outside looking in when you should be right there, holding their hand, protecting them from this, letting them know that it's going to be okay. I will tell you that what it does is it brings out innocence that we know, and a heart that we know from these kids, where they're asking us if we're okay. And they're making sure that we're okay, right? Because they're watching how we react when they're going through these things. I know that we tried very, very hard to never break down in front of JC, never make her feel like we were scared, always make her feel like we had an answer or we knew what was gonna, and I would say 9 times out of 10 we didn't. We had no idea what was gonna happen. We just didn't want her to be any more scared or fearful than she already was at a moment like that, and that's something that you put on a parent that I don't think that we're built for. I don't think that our bodies are wired for that, and our brains are wired to watch your kid go through something so incredibly painful or torturous even, and not have an answer as to why it's happening. And going through some of these drugs, for us, or for JC, it was tremors. One drug she gave her tremors. That was the methylene blue, actually. It gave her tremors so bad that I thought she was going to sit up and jump out of bed. Her body, she couldn't control it. And also, she would get one chemo drug, a phosphamide, put her in a locked in the box situation for 12 hours, where you could look her in the eyes, but there was nobody there, and she couldn't communicate with you. 12 hours later, she'd wake up like nothing happened. But that's the type of thing that, what the hell are you supposed to do as a parent? Like, your child was just there talking to you, playing a game or laughing with you, and then they're there, but there's nobody home, and that's like, honestly, I'm sorry, but that's where the commercials need to be. That needs to be it. A parent crying on the floor, a parent in the corner not knowing what to do, begging to anybody that will listen, please, God, save my kid. Please do the best you can. A child that is, there's a famous photo out there of a child that's all skin and bones, just standing over a toilet. I think what
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the commercial. Like, that's it, because we've all been in that exact photo, that exact situation.
I think we just all as parents need to come together, and I think we need to make a commercial and put it out there. I think that's the only way it will ever touch. And that's also finding someone who will be willingly to put that on the TV. But I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, it's going to take a bunch of parents coming together and making a real commercial, showing the real stuff, have clips of parents talking, show clips of children really unwell during chemo, and putting it together. I don't think no one else will do that other than the parents who are actually going through it. I don't know how to get a commercial on the TV.
I don't either, but listen, you are really kind of putting it in a kind of saying what I think we all feel, and that's the reality of it. And unfortunately, in putting a commercial out there, it's also it comes back to the same thing, that we as parents carry the load of making this difference, making this change, because there's nobody else out there that's going to do it. Now, we can't physically sign bills into law. We can't physically change the budget. We can't physically force politicians or Washington or whatever to change it, but it's us that is going to carry the load of all that. It is organizations that are, through philanthropic efforts, that are putting the money out there to fix these things. It's us that are caring for the families, because nobody else is going to do it. And the more of us that come together, I would say fortunately and unfortunately. Fortunately, this community is massive, and we're not going to be quiet. Unfortunately, this community is massive, and it continues to get bigger. It is one of those things where people say, well, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad. It's rare. It's classified under the Rare Diseases Act, which I think is bullshit, and that should be changed. And I think that, and I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again, anybody listening, walk outside of your house right now, walk 10 houses either way, and I guarantee you will find a family connected to pediatric cancer in some way. Whether it's their child is currently going through it, their child has gone through it and or has passed, or their family member is going through it, that you will know. You will find somebody. There is no way in hell that we can continue to act as if this is not a problem, or that it is getting better. That number when our daughter was diagnosed in 2020 was 43 kids a day. It is now 47 kids a day. Obviously, that's an issue. There's 1,800 kids dying every single year. Every single year, 1 in 5. That's not okay. Like, I think that anybody that turns their back on this is literally saying, without saying it, that one child is acceptable loss if you can save the 4.
They don't
And
care until it's their child. They never will. I saw St. Jude commercials my whole childhood. I was like, wow, that's really sad. I was like, that child's really sick. And I never really paid any mind to it. I was a kid. I was like, that's a sick kid. Grew up as an adult. You see the commercial occasionally, don't hear about it, and then it's your child. And now suddenly you care. And now you're like, why aren't there commercials? Why isn't this on the news more often? Why isn't it here? Why isn't it talked about? Why isn't it more funded? I think none of these people ever care until they are literally put in the situation where they have to care. And it's a shame.
yeah, well, we're in that sense, we're conditioned to believe, based on what we see on TV or what we hear on the news, we're conditioned to believe that the problem's not that big of a deal. Or if our child is diagnosed with cancer, that it's going to be okay, right? It's not that bad. The kids are still, they don't have hair, but they're still smiling. There's no issue. So we shouldn't be scared about anything, right? Like that's what we're forced to believe. And then you get put into this, and then you see everything behind the scenes, and then you wonder, why was I never really given the full information about this? It's like getting hired, for a job, and then they put you in a totally different position that you didn't get hired for. Like that, we're getting put into this, and we have nothing to go off of. And you're okay. Here's a social worker with your book of resources or your folder of organizations or whatever. Here's your Make-A-Wish. Again, nobody understands Make-A-Wish, right? Everybody looks at Make-A-Wish like, okay, that's only for dying kids. That's the understanding people have about it in general, that's for kids they're not going to make it, so we're going to give them something special. And I remember that we were given that folder, and I looked at my wife, and we looked at each other, and we're like, well, this is not good. And I remember the social worker being like, no, it's not. It's for anybody going through something like this. It's yada yada. It's explained in a better way. And I think now I have a better understanding of Make-A-Wish, and I've done an interview with them as well, and it's a better understanding of what's going on. But in the initial diagnosis stage of that, or initial hospital stay, you're given that packet and you see Make-A-Wish, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you're known as that being like the last hurrah for these kids. That's how I've always known it as, until someone told me, they're like, oh no, like you just need to be within a year out of treatment or in active treatment and healthy enough to go on a trip. And they have to be like, I think over the age of 2.5. And I was like, I thought it was only kids who were literally on their way out of here. And Make-A-Wish, though, they're amazing. What they do. Love that.
Yeah, no, it really was a godsend to us. It was really amazing what they were able to do for our daughter, and they did it in a super, super quick timeline, which was amazing for us. And everything for us was different because it was, like I said, 2020, so it was COVID times. The whole world freaking shut down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you go from 2 parents in the hospital to only one can be here and no visitors and all this stuff, and it was terrible. But I'm biased, obviously, but I will say this, that, and I'm sure you can concur that, with your son, that she always made the best of every situation, and she didn't complain. And it was because they're kids, right? They don't understand anger. They don't understand hate. They don't understand politics. They don't understand anything. They understand, I'm a kid, and I'm supposed to be a kid. This sucks, but mom and dad are with me. We're in the hospital. We'll figure it out. Like they go through it with a really good attitude. But even with that good attitude and with that good aura around them, again, everything that they're going through is super scary. What they cover it up with that innocence. And I think if they really could talk, I put out a photo of my daughter and I sitting in front of the camera. I put it on Facebook of us flicking the camera off, and I sat on that photo for like 2 weeks, and I was like, do I post this? Do I not post it? Do I post it? Do I not? Because I was worried I was going to get feedback, like negative. But then I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. She's been through enough. She deserves to be able to do it. I don't really think she understood what she was doing, but we did it. And to my surprise, I didn't get any negative feedback on it at all. And I think that's where our kids are. Like they're in that vulnerable state, and they just want to be a kid, and they just want to be around their siblings, and they just want to have a normal life. And and this stupid cancer has come in here and screwed things up and made things difficult for them. But all they want to do is make sure that we're okay. All they want to do is make sure that we're not sad, or that we're going to make it through no matter what. And that's what we're missing in this world, honestly, is those hearts.
It's hard too. My son's, he's 1.5. He's not even 2 yet. And he's gone through way more than most adults have in their whole life. And I can't tell you the number of times that I try and not cry in front of him. My goal was always, he went to sleep. Okay, now I'm going to roll over in my blanket and face the hospital window. I'm going to go cry myself to sleep because I was happy mom all day. And I can't tell you the amount of times that we'll just be sitting together on the bed and he'll just come up and he'll just like lean his head on my chest and he'll just like put his hand on my heart. And I'm just like, he's almost like, he's my comfort. I should be comforting him. And I feel like sometimes he's my comfort. And he'll throw up. He'll eat, throw up everything he just ate, and then want more food. Or he'll throw up, and then he'll just start dancing. And it's just like, he's so resilient, and it blows my mind every day. Because I'd be crying like a little baby. If I start throwing up, I do that, I'm going to bed. He just has a dance party all day, every day. And, people come for me because I let him drink coffee, decaf coffee occasionally. Because after chemo killed off half his taste buds, that's what he liked. And I saw my people like, oh, coffee is bad for brain development. I was like, what's also bad for brain development? Chemo. Fries their brain along with like 100 other things it does. And it's not like he's drinking a big cup of coffee every day, but the hate will come. The comments will come. People always have their opinion. My son couldn't breathe. His first round of immunotherapy, had to get 2 rescue epi treatments. And I had someone messaging me telling me to put him in a bathtub with apple cider vinegar. I'm
Love
like,
it.
I'm at the hospital. She's like, I'm not a doctor or anything, but he needs an apple cider vinegar bath. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right.
You know what? Like I said, it's the internet doctors, man. They are incredible, and anything out there that can possibly save a child or make it good, they're going to tell you that this is how to fix it. It's truly mind blowing. I think not even that kind of knowledge, if you will. I think it's mind blowing that people would actually repeat it, or to say it to a mother or a father or a family going through this, that this is what they need. Like, please, kindly just take it somewhere else, because it's not, we don't want your unsolicited religious advice. We don't want your unsolicited medical advice. We don't want any of that. What we want is for you just to look at us and say, okay, they're going through a terrible time, but I'm here for you, whatever you need. But I'm also going to say this. We as parents don't often know what we need. We don't know. So if you say, call me if you need something, we're probably never going to call, okay? If you feel truly like you want to help, offer to buy them groceries, offer to bring coffee to their house, offer to clean their house, offer, if they're willing, and this is going to be situation specific, offer to sit with their kid for an hour while they take a walk or they go to the store or whatever. Listen, when my daughter was going through it, we had a very good friend of ours. She's a medical professional, that she came and sat with our daughter for an hour so my wife and I could go out on our anniversary. We went to a hardware store and walked around. Like, it was just a chance to get away from the house. Yes, we were still worried and our minds were with our kid, but it was a chance to break away from it for a moment and just reset a little bit. So just offer things instead of saying, call me if you need anything. Offer something.
You gotta offer something.
Because that's
like,
what
just
we
like
need the
you
most.
said, we can't, our brain is not there. Our brain is centered on our child. We're not going to think of things we need. Like, if someone called me like, hey, I'll come over for an hour, you go shower and really take care of yourself. Like, wash your face, brush your hair, blow dry your hair, do something. I would take it in a heartbeat. But if you tell me, call me if you need something, I'm not going to call you and be like, hey, can you come over so I can shower real quick and take my time instead of making my morning routine 5 minutes long. The first time my mom offered to take him multiple times because I had to move in with her after all this. I lost my apartment because I lost my job. And she was like, you go out for an hour. She's like, let me take him. And mind you, my mom has been watching my kids for 5 years. I have 3 kids. And I was like, no. And she's like, what if something goes wrong? She's like, Madelynn, leave the house. You've only been at the hospital in your bedroom for the past 2 months. And I remember I made it to the grocery store. I'm texting him like, is he okay? No fever? Is he fine? No fever? Every 10 minutes, I'm texting her like, no fever, right? No fever, right? He had his meds, right? And it's just like, it's a whole different world. And I hate that. I hate that life has to change so drastically after a diagnosis, but it is like a whole new life. It's almost like you hit the reverse button.
Yeah,
and he's
no,
starting over.
it's something that, again, it's that insight. This is what I want people to hear and see, is because this is the reality behind everything. Yes, it's the gruesome hospital stays. It's all of that. It's the medical procedures. It's the surgeries. It's the chemotherapy. It's the kids being sick, and you're always on cleanup mode. You become a doctor, a nurse. You become everything. Their caretaker. You become all of that. But it also affects things, and like you mentioned, it also affects things on a different level as well. Jobs often can go away because of this. Often, and I will say this: job loss within this community is huge. Income loss is huge in this community because you're focused on and you should be. And most jobs, they're good, and you're on, they're not going to let you go. But at some point, you are an employee. You have to be there, and they have to do what's best for the business. And it's not like, okay, you know what, you got a terrible situation in your life, but you got to go. It's at some point it's a business, right? But this is a big thing, and you had to move, and you have to make changes, and you have to do all this kind of stuff, and that's the reality behind everything. This disease destroys relationships. It breaks up marriages. And it's like, it is so much dirtier than I think what we are kind of fed to believe is all. Your kid is sick. Okay, your kid is sick, but that also means that every time one of your other children gets a bruise or a cut or a scrape or a cough or a headache, you're like, shit. Is it happening again? Is it happening to them? Like now you're on edge for the rest of your life. Your anxiety is through the freaking roof, and you can't shut that off. So again, these are all these different aspects that people don't really associate with it, and that's the whole point of this, is really give them all, but it also is to give other people a chance to relate and say, I feel the same way. Thank God I'm not alone, because I feel like I'm not, and I'm not around people that understand. We understand. I am not hard to find when it comes to this community. My phone number is public, so people, if you want to reach out and you want to just vent, like I said in the beginning, and you just want to talk, or you want, I'll give you advice based on what we've been through. And if I don't, I think my biggest thing that I can offer, and something that I'm actually kind of proud of, is that I've become a resource, in the sense that if I don't know the answer, I know somebody that does, and I can get you in touch with the right people or the right direction. And that's so important, because we had none of that. And I don't want anybody. There's going to be diagnosis. There's going to be 47 families today that are going to hear those words. I want them to know they're not alone. And I want them to know that, things might not be okay. It's a cliche thing. Things are going to be all right. Just keep fighting. Stay strong. Don't say that shit. It's not okay. It's not going to be okay. Your life is different. We're broken people, but at the same time, we're still the same people. So don't treat us like damaged goods. Treat us like the same people that we were, and just give us the respect of, if you think that you don't have anything to offer, then just a simple, I'm here for you. A simple, I'm thinking about you today. Whatever.
That's what I like. I'm thinking about you. All right,
Yeah.
you guys are in my thoughts today. I like little stuff like that. That's nice. It's a little reminder, like, you're here. I didn't forget about you, but I don't know what to tell you. So I'm just letting you know I'm here. I also like telling people, my favorite thing is, when a mom comes to me, or a dad, recently a child was diagnosed with cancer, I'm like, I'm sorry that you're becoming part of this community, but this is top notch, one of the best communities you could be in. The people you will meet are amazing. I'm sorry you're here, but you're in one of the best spots, because there are so many people here that will make sure you're not alone.
That is 100% true, and I will say it till the end of time, is that this is a community that nobody wants to be a part of, but a community now that my family and I would go scorched earth for any day, because it is a group of people that truly care and truly want the best. And even those that have met the untimely loss of their child, we still want the best for everybody else, and we want to hear about your victories. We want to hear about things that are going well. Like, we don't ever want to be closed off because of what we've gone through. We want everybody to succeed in this. And that's the biggest thing. I've never been a part of a group of people in my life that was like that didn't care about anything else that was going on. We're not separated by race, religion, politics. We're not separated by that. we can have disagreements about that stuff like human beings do, but as a community, we're one, and we do the best that we can to speak as one group, because when we speak in one voice, then everybody hears us, and it's very hard to tune us out. So it's really important that we continue to share these stories and continue to talk about it. And please don't ever be afraid to ask questions. Like, that's the biggest thing. Anytime if it comes up and I have to say, yes, I have 3 daughters. I have a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, and an 8-year-old that's in heaven. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, I appreciate it, but we can talk about it still. It's okay, because I love talking about her, and that's the best way is to get awareness out there. And these are the best. These are the best episodes that I like, because I feel like we could talk forever about this, and I feel like we could share
I'm a yapper.
these stories.
I will keep going.
And that's totally fine, because my wife tells me that I ramble all the time, and then I just keep doing it. But that's just, I think this is the best way. So I will just, I mean, is there anything that we did not cover that you would like to share with everybody?
I don't think so. I think my last piece I'd want to say to somebody, if you are documenting your child's cancer journey, don't let someone tell you you're wrong for doing that. Don't let them tell you you're using your child for publicity. Don't let them tell you you're using your child for internet fame. Because end of the day, until we put a face to the statistics, there's never going to be change. Until we share the bad and the good, there's never going to be change. And you're not wrong for sharing your child's story. Because I know a lot of people get comments about that. You're not wrong for sharing your child's story.
You are, listen, at the end of every episode, I always ask for advice. And I think that is more spot on, especially with what I think this community has dealt with for so long, is that anytime people have, with TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, all that stuff, we put our kids out there because they're going through this. Trust me, it's not for fame. I would rather be famous for something way different. It's never been about that. It's about awareness, because the more people that hear what you're doing or going through, not only are we looking for it to make change, but we're also looking for the community to feel like they're not alone, and more families that share, then this is how we connect, and then we stay in touch with each other, and we're able to kind of be there for the victories, also be there for the lows, and you don't feel like you're alone, because by sharing, in a sense, you are reaching out to the community saying, we're here, we're going through this, and you become part of this. So please don't ever feel ashamed to share, and don't be afraid to share the real and raw stuff that's out there, because that's what we need to see. And to the commenters that decide that they know better than you do as a parent, well, they can go to hell. And that's just the way that it is. There you go. Yeah, they can.
I got some comments right before I got on this podcast, so it's fresh in my.
God, the internet is a fun place, and social media is a fun place, and like I said in the beginning, it's a very much a love-hate relationship, because it has so much good to offer, because it can bring you together. I have made connections and friends with people that you never would have known and I wish it would have been under different circumstances, but connections with people that will forever then be there, that you can talk to and you can listen to, and they can listen to you. They become a resource, they become outreach, all of that. But the amount of people that just want to shut it down because they think that they know better than you, and I feel like they're just scrolling, looking for things that they can make comments on that make zero sense to them, and that's the worst part. But I will say this: there is not a parent within this community, there is not a mom, there's not a dad that is going to ever back down from defending sharing our kids. And we're sharing them not for fame. We're sharing them because their stories deserve to be heard, their legacies deserve to be secured, their names deserve to be in lights, and they need to be said every single day. So that's my stuff. Jumping on what you said there, I'm 100%. Share it all day. Please continue to share. Don't ever stop. Don't let anybody tell you what you're doing is wrong, because you know what? At the end of the day, you're the mom, you're the dad. They're just an internet scroller. They're just a keyboard warrior, and their words mean nothing. So I will say that. And so to you and to your family, to Malakai, I hope things continue to go well. I hope they go in a positive direction. I hope you don't ever lose your advocacy for him, and you continue to push for what you think is right at that moment. Never stop doing that, and never feel like you've done something wrong, or never let anybody tell you that you've done something wrong because you made a decision. It is ultimately you and him really making those choices. And it doesn't, and again, I'll get someone saying, well, he's so young, it doesn't matter. Trust me, these kids, at 1, 2, it doesn't matter. They understand what's happening.
They do.
And
Everyone's favorite line to say they won't remember any of it. They will. They'll remember some of it.
100%. And there's too many kids that know the names of chemo drugs before their ABCs, and that's a sad thing. But I thank you for coming on here and sharing this with me, and I hope that things continue to go well, and you can continue to share your story and continue to put it out there. If people would like to follow you on TikTok, what is your username?
It's Mama, MAMA, period, of dot, or period again, chaos, but the O is a 0.
Perfect. Chaos makes perfect sense,
Yep.
So there you go. So if anybody would
3
like to
boys.
follow, well, you know what? I hear you. I've got 3 girls, but being a parent, greatest job in the world. Greatest job in the world, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you sharing and being open, and we do wish you all the best with Malakai and your other 2, and that everything goes really well. We'll continue to watch and stay in touch. All right. Well, thank you, Madelynn, so much for coming on here with me today. And for everybody else, we will see you all next week.